I am Paula Rice, and I have been growing cut flowers for 19 years now. And I have sold to farmers markets, grocery stores, wholesalers. I did a florist route, and now I have a farm stand and my floral studio where I design flowers for everyday events and weddings and all of the things. If you're someone who loves cut flowers and wants to play with cut flowers and even become maybe a garden florist or start a farm stand or a subscription service or any of those things, this is the right place. I have thought a lot about what it takes to have cut flowers week after week all season long, because once you gain some customers, you want to have flowers every week so that they keep coming back. I feel like when it comes to cut flower growing, it's very layered, and I don't want to say it's difficult, but it's definitely strategic, and I am a strategic thinker. So inside of the classroom, down below here, I do have courses for anyone who is just beginning. Bloom On is a deep dive into mastering cut and come again flowers and basically building the simplest, easiest cut flower garden based on those flowers. I do have extra flowers in that category that really aren't cut and come again, but they have such a long harvest window. I felt that they could go in there and that would be valuable to you. The next thing you'll want to know, because the Bloom On garden, your cut and come again flowers go inside of your perfect all season cut flower garden and become a very serious part of the strategic plan for having flowers week after week. Now, inside indoor seeding success, we want to start you starting your own plants because that's going to save you a ton of money and you don't have to have a greenhouse to do it. We are using a light rack system, and I do a deep dive into this. It has all the sources where to get cut flower seeds and how to start them. Up here is really where we get into the meat and potatoes. Blooms to bouquets is pretty decently sized. I talk about harvesting and designing cut flowers so that you can design something that will last a long time for your customers. Let's just open that up really quick and take a peek inside of this course. We talk about mastering longevity. We have lots of videos in here just to make sure that you are doing everything really professionally, because you want people bragging about you and coming back to you week after week or anytime that they need flowers to celebrate their life's moments. So we talk about designing your cut flowers, evaluating your design, how to make them last. I even go through a whole June harvest with you. You can see what that looks like in my field. And, here's just a beautiful garden casket spray that I had built all from cut flowers in my garden. I take one bucket of blooms and I design it in 4 different ways to show you what is possible when harvesting. You don't want to just learn to design flowers. You have to learn how to grow flowers. You have to learn how to have them week after week. And then you want to design flowers that, is professional and beautiful and will last a long time for your customers. So you could start anywhere. You could start with any one of these modules wherever you feel the passion to begin, because maybe you feel the passion to begin with design. So I would say jump into blooms to bouquets. But Bloomprint is all about designing the perfect cut flower garden so that you have flowers week after week. And when I put this garden together after my 19 years of experience, I based it on what would I do if I was starting all over again, because I went really big and I went wholesale, and now I'm scaling way back and just really intrigued with the idea of how small can I get. And so I built out a garden that was basically 80 by 100, and it would have all of the components in it that make a good cut flower garden and provide blooms for me week after week. So that is what Bloomprint is, and you can be as big or little as you want, because it really does come down to, are you going to grow 10 plants of this, or are you going to grow 100 plants of this? It doesn't matter where you live, because whether you're in Australia or Canada, I'm in the United States in Idaho. When you open the seed catalogs and you start to look at things that make a good cut flower, we're basically all looking at the same stuff. We build a garden based on your last and first frost dates, and then we start thinking about, okay, well, if I order this shrub or this perennial, will it come back for me where I live? And for most people with just the annual type stuff, if you can grow a sunflower, you can grow a great many of the things that are in my course and what I suggest growing. Of course, you are going to be nuanced where you live and think, powdery mildew comes in, that's just not working for me. I don't want to deal with the battle. You still are going to shape a cut flower garden and a cut flower business that will suit your lifestyle. And so if you don't want to battle certain things or battle certain bugs or do extra things to make your flowers be taller and all of that, you get to make those choices. Just remember, the whole time, everything's possible. So much is possible, but you still will make the decision of, do I want to deal with this particular plant? And then do or don't. It is completely up to you. So Bloomprint, we go into the irrigation, keeping it as simple as possible. And I do have a garden plan, and it is a workbook where I basically am teaching you to fish, but I am also right there with you in the community. And we have the calendar. I pop in and I do continued classes because everybody comes in during the year at different times. And it's like, I want to grab you and find out where you're at in your journey. And then I just want to keep you on task. Like, okay, based on where you're at, beginner, medium, advanced, whether you're building a certain market or not. And I can just keep you on task, like, this is kind of where you need to be. Or at least I can give you the insight that I have from all the years that I have been growing. I think the biggest thing, the hardest part is just starting, because when you start, that's when you start to gain clarity. You can sit out on Instagram and social media and you can get all these great little tidbits, but we've got to get it put together so that you are actually out in your garden working on it and getting the clarity that you need to make the decisions and then ultimately build the markets that you want. And I know what it takes to build a market. I live in a very small town. Every market that I built was a serious challenge, especially 15, 19 years ago when people were like, you mean you grew this in your garden? But now everybody buys cut flowers. And what I do know is that you can go so big and do too much because people do buy flowers. And that's my problem. And now I just have the farm stand and the studio, and I'm helping you learn how to grow a cut flower business from your home. It is a really good deal. Right now, we're just doing the beta membership to get people in there and me feel out how can I help you and move forward. So I hope you jump on. It's a lot of fun. I love to talk cut flowers. I love to be strategic, and I'm sure that I can help you.